So hello, I just make this short video to introduce a little bit about the pseudocode, which is you will use it a lot in the SDEV 120 class, and you use it a lot in the case you work with the homework in the debugging exercise. So basically, for the pseudocode, it is not real programming language. It is artificial and informal language that help programmer to develop the algorithm. And basically, for every program, right? Basically for every program, you have the three part here. You have the first thing is the input where the end user enters the input here. Right. The second one is assignment or calculation, everything you do with the calculation. And the third one, when you've done everything with the calculation, that is the time you print out the desired output, the expected output here. So I have the simple example for this one, right? So that is a program a shop owner and who sells ball, each of the ball for the $5 here. And you will have to develop a program to ask your seller to enter how many balls he sells for 1 day. And from that, you have to print out how much he earned for 1 day, right? So basically for every program, you have to figure out what is expected output, what is input in order to deliver the expected output, and what is the calculation you have to do, right? So for this one, you have to figure out for the input, the first thing you need to enter the number ball here, right? And the expected output is that from the number ball, how much money shop owner earn for such number ball, right? So for this simple example, you have to figure out the input here is the number ball, right? And you have the calculation. So think about you have the calculation. You will have the revenue is the number of ball times 5. 5 here is the price for each of the ball, right? So when you figure out the revenue, the last step you have to print it out to tell to show it to the shop owner how much money he earned for today, right? So for the pseudocode is normally you have the start and the stop for the program, right? The first thing you have the declaration. You have to declare for any variable you use in the program here. So for this one, you have the for this one you have a two variable, right? The ball here is input, how many ball, and revenue it is output here, and both of them is the number format here. That's why I put the num here. Num here is the number format, and ball here is a variable name, and num here is the number format, and revenue here it is a variable name, right? So we see you have the three step here. You get the input, right? Input ball, how many ball, right? You have to figure out from the how many ball, you figure out what is the revenue here. Revenue is the ball times 5 here. 5 here is the price for each of the ball, right? So when you figure out revenue, the last step here, you just print out what is the revenue, right? So that is very simple it's a very simple program with a pseudocode. And you can convert it into the Raptor. The Raptor is also the simulation program. It's not real programming language, but it's very helpful for you to understand about the coding and to understand the structure of the coding here. So see, when you have the pseudocode, you can convert it into the Raptor with this one here, right? The Raptor with this one. So I have the Raptor here. I have the ball, the input ball to figure out the revenue. And print out the revenue here, right? So I run it here. When I run it, see, for this one, I make it simple, so I don't have any problem here, right? So I put thing about the 10 here is the number of the ball, right? So figure out, right? You figure out the revenue here is the 50 because the 10 ball here is the 10. You enter the number 10, right? The ball here is the 10 times 5. You have the 50 here, and print out 50 here. But one thing with the program here. One thing is the program here is that if you think about if you are the end user, right? When you run program, you see, you have no idea what you have to do here, right? Because this one is missing the prompt here. Right? The prompt is a text. It always have to tell user what he have to do to make more sense in the program. Right? So it should be better for you that for any program you should put it into the prompt to make it more sense in program here. Right? So it can make more sense with the prompt Right? So instead of the input ball only, you have to tell the end user here. You have to tell user enter number ball you sold for today. Right? Also for the output, instead of print out the number only, you also print out the revenue for today is something here, right? So for this one here, for this one, I can convert. Sorry, I can correct the program here. I can correct a program for the after here. I put the prompt here to make it more sense for the end user. So I just correct it here. I put here. And, right. So you see, that is the prompt for the input. Also for the output also, I want to make it more sense by and the text here. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so now see, I put prompt in the program to make it more sense, right? So we see, I run it again. Right? So we tell you, yeah, you see, you have the prompt here to tell user what he expect to do with this one. So he understand that he have to enter the number ball for today, right? So I put the number ball for today, the 10, right? And I figure it out. So instead of print out the number 50 only, it's not really make sense, right? And now see, the revenue for today is 50. It makes more sense, right? So it is my suggestion for any program. You should put prompt. It makes more sense in any program here. So when you're done with this one, you have the program. The first program here. Now the shop owner want to change the price for each ball from the 5 to 6, right? So how can you change it? Very simple, right? So you change it from the number 5 here to number 6 here. Right? So instead of the 5, now you change it to the number 6. So we can run the program again. So we see now with the 10 ball you sold for today, the 10 ball you send for today, you got the 60, not the 50 here, right? So you got the 60 here. That is the first problem. The second problem is that now the shop owner want have option to enter price for each ball, the ball for himself, right? So you see, and anytime he want to change the price for the ball, he don't have to call you to come back to change the program. He wants the option to change it for himself. So you see, instead of doing that, you need one more variable, right? Now you need one more variable. Variable here is the price. Price here it is a price for each ball, right? So see, before you only have the two variable, ball and revenue. Now you need one more variable. It's a price here. So you have the number of ball, the price and revenue, right? So see, you need to get the input ball. That is the first variable, right? You need to get the input for the price is the second variable. And now when you already have the number of ball and you have the price for each of the ball, you can figure out what's the revenue here, right? The revenue here is the ball time price, right? So see, for this one, you have two inputs, ball and price, and you have one output here, revenue, right? So you can modify program here. You need one more variable, right? You need one more variable here, and you change it here, and the price each ball here, and you store it into the variable name price here, right? And now revenue is the time, not time 6, time price here. Okay. So now let me run it again. Let me clear it here. So see, when I run program, right? The first thing, enter the number ball for today. That is the first variable, right? I put the 10 here, right? So now the second variable, the second input here, enter price for each ball. I put this time I put the 8 here, right? You can put any number. That is variable. Variable that means changeable, right? One time you can change it, one time you can put it to 5, other time you can put it 6 or 8 or whatever it is. That is the variable here. So see, after the first step here, so it stores the number 10 in the variable name ball, right? And after the second, if I put the 8 here, it stores the number 8 into the variable price here. You see, it stores the number 8 in the variable price. And now you have the revenue. Revenue is the ball. What is the ball? 10, right? What is the price? 8. And you time them together, you have 80, and print out here the revenue for today is 80. Right? So that is something you work with the serial code here. Now, something you are expected to do when you work with the debugging in the chapter 1 here, in the debugging exercise in the chapter, in the module 1, is that you have to find out to fix the serial code here. You have some problem, you have some of the error in the serial code. Normally you have the two type error. The first one is syntax error, and the second one is the logic error here. The syntax error is a program, it doesn't work until you fix it. Right? So for the most common syntax error, it's inconsistent in the variable name here. In variable name. So think about this one here. Right? You got the input the ball here, and now you figure out the revenue is ball without s here. You will got a syntax error and program will stop here. Now let me change the program here. Right? So see, instead of doing the balls here, now I change it to the ball. You see that it is something inconsistent in variable name, right? And this one definitely you will get the syntax error here. Now see, I enter the number ball 10 here, right? And price here, I put a 6 here. See, you see the variable ball not found because it's inconsistent. Ball here is not with the balls here, right? That is one common mistake in the debugging. You have to make sure the variable name is consistent here. That is a syntax error, right? So I can change it back again to correct it, and now the program will run it here. Let's see, I put it here, 10 and 8 here. I have 80 here. Right? It run correctly. The second error is a logic error. The logic error, with the logic error, program does work, run smoothly, but the output is not expected output here. So if you look on the program here, right? So we got the ball, you got the revenue, right? So instead of time the revenue, instead of figure out the revenue, it is a ball time pi. Now you plot pi here, or you can which is the program here, right? Instead of ball time price, you put it ball plus price here. So with this logical error, it works program to run it smoothly here, right? You think about this one here. You put the number 10 for the 10 ball, right? And the price here for the 8 ball, and you know that if you have the 10 ball and the price for each of the ball is 8, you expect the output revenue is 80 here. But what happened here? What happened here? You see the revenue here is 18. So we see program run it smoothly. You have no problem with the running program, but the output is not expected one. Instead of 80, now you have 18 here. Right? So that is a logical error, and you have to find out to fix this here. Right? So we can come back. You can come back to change it here. So instead of plus, you have to time 5. Or for the raptor here, instead of plus, you know that you have to time it here. Right? And you can come back to run it again. This time think about you solve for 20 here. And each of the bonus you have 15, and you expect that the output is 300 here. And you got it correctly, 300 here. So basically that is all about the pseudocode. You know, the pseudocode, when you understand the pseudocode, it's very helpful for you to convert it to the real programming language here. So in the conclusion, pseudocode is not real programming language. It is artificial and informal language that help program to develop the algorithm. But once you understand the pseudocode, once you understand the logic of the pseudocode, it's very easy for you to convert it into the real programming language here. So think about this one. On the left, you have the pseudocode here, right? On the left, you have the pseudocode, and you know that for this one, you need 2 input here. You need the 2 inputs. The first one is the number 4, and the second one is the number. The second one is it is the price for each of the ball, right? You need the 2 inputs, and you have to figure out what is the revenue. It is output here. All right, so when you convert it to the, when you look on this one, it's very easy for you to convert it into the right. It is a Python here. Right? So you see, you need one input, the ball, right? And this is integer format, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? The price is a float. It can be 2.5 or 5.6 or whatever, right? So you see, you have the two inputs. You figure out what's the revenue, and you print out what's the revenue here. So this one here, this one is a, I converted from the pseudocode. I converted into the real programming language. This one is a Python, right? So now I can run it here. All right. I enter the number ball for today. I enter the number ball to 50 here. And the price for each ball, I put it is thing about 12.5 here. All right. And you see, the revenue for today, it is a 625. Right? So I think that's all for the short introduction for the pseudocode here, and I hope you understand the basics of the pseudocode, and it's really helpful for you when you work with the debugging exercise here. Thank you for watching.